Hello and welcome back to Patel Bella. I'm your host, Sin, and in this episode we're going to talk about my thoughts on the Barbie movie after having seen it. So I watched the Barbie movie the day it premiered in theaters, Friday, July 21st, which is, I want to say about a week ago now. And me personally, I loved it. I went to go see it with my sister, and it was just such a great film. It's not for the faint of heart. You know, me and my sister went into it thinking it was just gonna be this fun and cute and like little film. It's just like so cute and like lighthearted and like a comedy, but it was way more than that. It was a lot more profound than I thought it was gonna be, and I definitely cried. And I left the theater with just this newfound meaning for existence and what it means to be like a woman in this world. But more on that in a second. I wrote some notes so I didn't forget anything. That's what I'm going to be referring to. The opening has so many references to other movies in pop culture, like The Space Odyssey, Philadelphia Story, Truman Show, Wizard of Oz, and American in Paris, just to name a few. Like, those are some references that, like, if you're a real big film buff, you'll get and you'll love. And there's even like the scene about The Godfather that is just so funny. If you know, you know. And if you watch it and you're also in film school, like as a woman, you'll get it. It's hilarious. I love it. I was dying when I saw it in theaters. I was literally howling, cracking the fuck up, because I just felt like Greta had spoken to me personally. And my sister and this one woman behind me were just like, girl, are you good? Am I not getting the joke? Like, what's so funny? There was parts of it that just had me rolling. I went through such an emotional roller coaster watching that movie. And I know, like, if you are open to it, you will too. And another thing I want to talk about is that there's this critique going on the other side of the internet that's not the biggest fan of Barbie. And it's really endorsed by Piers Morgan about how the Barbie movie is endorsing like reverse sexism, because the tagline is that she is everything and he's just Ken. But the thing about that is that, you know, this movie, it focuses on girlhood and transitioning from being a little girl to stepping into womanhood and all that comes with that. So if they do feel a little excluded, I get that, because it's not about, you know, like, a man is not the protagonist in this movie. So obviously the focus isn't going to be on anything men really particularly go through in their life. So I understand if they feel a little left out, or, you know, because the gender norms are reversed in a way, because all the Barbies hold jobs and have titles, and, you know, that influences their personalities, but the Kens are just kind of their partners if they choose to be. You know, like, there's a Ken for every Barbie, for what I got from the film. And so they don't really have their own jobs or, you know, their real personalities. They are just happy-go-lucky Ken dolls, and they just happen to live in Barbie land. I know it's satire on the real world, because we live in a patriarchal society and men dominate most industries and occupations. So it really does flip that narrative. Now women are the ones in those positions of authority and hold those titles and those jobs and those roles. But I think men like Piers Morgan failed to realize this movie was about Barbie. And the whole reason Barbie was even created by Ruth in the 50s was because the only dolls at the time that little girls were able to play with were baby dolls. So the only play that they really got was playing a mommy to a baby doll that then, you know, trained them to be mothers in the future. And so she wanted to show her daughter that women can be anything. You don't have to just grow up and aspire to be a mom. You can grow up and be a president. You can grow up and be a doctor. You can grow up and be an astronaut, mailman, Olympian. Like, you can aspire to so much more than just being a mom. And there's no hating on being a mom. You can aspire to grow up and want to be a mom. I know women in my life and some friends who have had children, and like, they are loving it. They have their own career aspirations, but personally, for their own personal life and their own personal joy and fulfillment, they also did want to be moms. Just like men. There are men out there who hold careers and have occupations, and they also love being a dad. My dad is a pediatrician, and he has always wanted a family. One of my dad's life goals is literally to be a dad. So just like women, there are men out there who do aspire to be a parent, but that is not their only aspiration. And I feel like women at the time in the 50s and 60s didn't really have that. And then obviously the women's liberal movement and contemporary feminism as we know it today kind of really did amp up that idea that women could aspire to so much more than motherhood. Because you also have to remember, like, Barbie, it was a little new, like, to have her own house, her own car, her own money, no man, and she got to do all this stuff and be all she ever wanted to be. And that's what a lot of women are today. Like, they have their own jobs, they have their own house, they have their own car. And even my mother is one of these women, and she's just like, if I were to date like a man, you'd have to do and have so much more than I have, because everything I want in this life, I give it to myself. What else could you possibly provide me besides like companionship? You know, you can't fill my eyes with all these material things because I get to have all these things, like, as a woman. I understand where this critique is coming from, you know, because the gender norms are like flip-flopped, but a little thing that is different in the Barbie movie that's not really super parallel to the real world is that the Kens, although they don't have the same jobs or like achievements as the Barbies, they aren't harmed by the Barbies. Like, in our society, they live in a way where like they're afraid of men. Like, women don't want to go down the streets at night alone because that's dangerous. You don't want to go to the club and leave your drink unattended because that's dangerous. You don't want to say no to someone's advancements because that's dangerous. Like, how many times does Ken in the Barbie movie ask Barbie to do like girlfriend boyfriend things, like hang out by themselves or like go, you know, or like have a sleepover, and she turns him down and she's just like, no, I don't want to do that. And there's no fear because he's gonna like hurt her or something. Or even Ken, the amount of times he's asked Barbie and Barbie just like rejects him. Like, he's hoping for a different answer, but he's never anticipating harm. Little food for thought. How Ken dolls are just kind of like existent in Barbie land, but they aren't mistreated or oppressed in Barbie land. So that's why I don't believe in that critique that this is reverse sexism. Yeah, I think that's a key difference. I don't want to give too much away, but towards the end of the film, America Ferrera's character Gloria gives this iconic monologue on like how hard it is to be a woman and how hard it is just to be, because it comes with so much pressure from society, men and other women, and no matter how hard you try or no matter what you do, it's wrong and you're not being a woman in the right way, and you have to answer not only to just other women but also to men. And she really just, you know, goes on this like rant, this outward monologue about the struggles of womanhood. And in hearing that, because at this point in the movie the Barbies are like under a trance, because Ken came back to Barbie Land with stuff he learned from the real world and basically flipped the gender norm so that Kens would be in power, but that snaps them out of their trance. And I think it's just the funniest thing how the thing that snaps Barbies back into the way that they are is self-worth, being reminded of your self-worth. Another thing I love about this film is Alan. Alan was released, I believe, in the 60s or 70s. It was after Ken was introduced, because at first it was just Barbie, and then Barbie's boyfriend, which is Ken, and then Alan, which is Ken's like buddy, like his friend. But there was only ever one of him before he was discontinued, because I don't think, like, you're already pushing it with introducing one man into the equation of like a little girl's fantasies, and now he has a friend that he tags along with. It's like, sorry, we're playing with Barbie, not Ken. There's no need to have more than one of them. But yeah, so Alan's character, because he's Alan, he's not Ken, he doesn't really act like the way other Kens do. He's a little more self-aware, and because I guess he doesn't have any stake in Barbie. You know, he's not Barbie's, you know, lover or anything. He's literally Ken's friend. And there's only one of him, and when things go sideways, he's on Barbie's side, and he helps restore things in Barbie Land. He is one of the good guys, the truly good guys, that isn't helping Barbie for his own selfish gain, but because he sees how harmful the Kens are being. It's very symbolic to the testament of not all men, because it's true. In a world full of misogynistic and truly evil men, there are a handful that are good and kind. And I think Greta does an amazing job of like portraying that through Alan. You know, like he is really a girl's guy. Like he is really good in nature, and he doesn't just succumb to misogyny and patriarchy because he does see how harmful that is, and he doesn't want any part of it. So I love Ken for that. So I love Alan for that. He was just an amazing part of the movie as well. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on real quick, kind of give my thoughts, not spoil too much, but kind of just talk about the Barbie movie, my thoughts on it, what I got from it, and what I loved and enjoyed from watching the movie. I'm definitely going to watch it again because this is just my take on like the first watch through. It's definitely a movie with so many Easter eggs and so many underlying like subliminal messages and things that Greta is trying to say about womanhood and what it means to be a woman, and also what it means to be a daughter and a mother. And so I definitely want to watch it with my mom. I'm out here promoting the film or like recommending the film like it's my job. Like Greta Gerwig is personally paying me to recommend this film to people. But I just love the film, and I think it has a beautiful message that I feel like a lot of people, not just women, need to hear and listen to. So I'm definitely going to watch it again, and I kind of want to see if my sister wants to hop on and kind of give her take on it too. So maybe we'll make that happen. Again, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I have so much fun making all of these, and thank you for everyone that always kind of just supports me every week. I come out with a new episode every Friday, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.